Have you ever felt overwhelmed by fear, worries, or problems in your life? When it feels like you're carrying a heavy weight on your shoulders, and no matter what you do, nothing seems to change? In moments of deep distress, when everything seems impossible, there is a powerful tool that can bring comfort, peace, and victory. This tool is dua, the supplication to Allah. Dua is not just a series of words or a ritual. It's a heartfelt call to the one who created us, who knows our struggles and fears, and is always ready to listen. In the Qur'an, Allah reminds us, "Call upon me, I will respond to you." Qur'an 40:40. No matter how big or small our problems are, Allah promises to hear us. Dua isn't just a request, but an act of surrendering to Allah's plan and trusting that He knows what is best for us. Real life story. Let me share a story about Fatima, a young woman who was going through one of the toughest times of her life. Fatima was dealing with significant health issues that doctors couldn't seem to diagnose. She had already gone through countless tests and treatments, but nothing helped. Every day, her fear grew stronger, and she felt more helpless as her condition worsened. It was in those moments of intense fear and despair that she turned to Allah. One night, as she lay awake, she recited a specific dua asking for relief and healing. She made it with sincerity and trust in Allah's mercy. Over time, Fatima started to see improvements, not just in her physical health, but in her mental and emotional state. She felt a sense of peace and strength she hadn't known before. What changed? It wasn't just the physical healing. It was her faith in the power of dua and Allah's will that brought her a sense of calm and hope. Have you ever experienced a moment when turning to Allah's guidance made a difference in your life? Whether it was through a dua or simply seeking comfort in prayer, we want to hear your story. Share your experiences in the comments below. How did turning to Allah help you find peace in times of distress? Before starting this video, don't forget to like this video because it gives us a lot of strength to continue sharing beneficial content. And I invite you to subscribe to our channel and activate the notification bell to stay informed of our next publications on the Islamic faith. Share it with your loved ones and leave a comment to tell me what you think. Thank you, and good video. The importance of trusting Allah. Before we dive into the powerful dua that can bring victory and peace, it's crucial to understand one fundamental truth. Allah is always with us. In every trial, no matter how great or small, Allah's presence is constant. The Quran reminds us, "Indeed, Allah is with those who fear Him and those who are doers of good." Quran 16:128. This verse serves as a reminder that when we face hardships, Allah is not distant. He is with us, guiding us and supporting us. Trusting in Allah means having the faith that, no matter the situation, He is aware of our struggles and He will provide for us in the way that is best. Even when we don't see immediate results, we must remember that Allah's wisdom and mercy are far greater than our own understanding. Real life story. Take the story of Prophet Yunus, Jonah, as an example. Prophet Yunus was sent by Allah to guide the people of Nineveh, but they rejected his message, leaving him feeling hopeless. In a moment of despair, he fled from his mission and ended up in the belly of a whale, trapped in darkness deep under the sea. His situation seemed utterly impossible. Yet, even in that moment, Prophet Yunus never lost his trust in Allah. While in the whale, he called out, "There is no deity except you. Exalted are you. Indeed, I have been of the wrongdoers." Quran 21:87. In that moment of complete surrender, he acknowledged his weakness and turned to Allah in sincere repentance. Allah, in His infinite mercy, responded to Yunus's dua and delivered him from the depths of despair, saving him from certain death. This story is a powerful reminder that no matter how difficult or hopeless our situation may seem, if we trust in Allah's mercy and call upon Him with sincerity, He will provide a way out. Trusting in Allah can be one of the most transformative practices in our lives. When we trust in Him, we let go of our worries and give ourselves the peace of knowing that He is in control. How has trusting in Allah helped you navigate your challenges? Whether it's been a personal struggle or a moment of fear, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Share in the comments below how trusting Allah has impacted your life and helped you overcome difficulties. The dua that brings victory, the dua we are discussing today, is one that many have found to bring comfort, strength, and victory in times of trouble. This powerful supplication is, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. Allah is sufficient for us, and He is the best disposer of affairs. Allah is sufficient for us, and He is the best disposer of affairs. This simple yet profound dua encapsulates complete trust in Allah's wisdom, power, and ability to resolve any difficulty. When recited with sincerity, it reminds us that Allah's plan for us is greater than our worries and fears. It's a declaration of reliance on Him alone, acknowledging that He alone is capable of guiding us through any trial. The phrase, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil, is a powerful statement of faith in Allah's ultimate authority over all matters. It allows us to surrender our worries and trust that, in the end, Allah will dispose of our affairs in the best possible way. This dua is a reminder that Allah's plan is always greater than our worries, and He is the best helper. It was recited by the companions of the Prophet during the Battle of Uhud when they were facing fear and uncertainty. The situation was dire. Many of the companions were injured, and they faced the threat of defeat. Despite the hardships, they trusted in Allah's plan and called out for His help, saying, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. Their trust in Allah and their reliance on this supplication brought them victory, and they were able to overcome the odds. This dua is not just a prayer for help, but a reminder that no matter how overwhelming the situation seems, Allah is in control, and He will take care of the affairs of His servants. This story from the Battle of Uhud is a timeless example of how faith and trust in Allah's plan can turn the tide of any battle, whether physical or emotional. The companions, despite their fear and injuries, did not panic. Instead, they found solace in the words of this dua, which gave them the strength to persevere. Real-life story. Let's look at a modern example to bring this powerful dua into perspective. Ahmed, a man in his mid-30s, was facing what seemed like an insurmountable crisis. The economy had taken a downturn, and Ahmed, like many others, was struggling financially. He had a family to provide for, bills piling up, and despite tirelessly searching for a new job, he couldn't find any solutions. His anxiety grew daily, and he feared he wouldn't be able to provide for his loved ones. In his moment of desperation, Ahmed turned to Allah. He recited the dua, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil, with all his heart. He truly believed that Allah, the best disposer of affairs, was the only one who could guide him through this trial. A few weeks later, Ahmed received a call for a job opportunity that not only offered him a stable income, but was far better than what he had hoped for. It was a position he had always dreamed of, but never imagined would come through during such a tough time. He found peace in knowing that Allah had listened to his call, and his trust in Him had led him to a solution he couldn't have achieved on his own. This experience was a reminder for Ahmed that Allah's timing is perfect, and He is the best of planners. When we place our trust in Him and sincerely call upon Him, He provides in ways we cannot predict, and He takes care of our needs, even in the most challenging times. Have you ever turned to this dua in times of fear or uncertainty? How did it help you find strength or victory We would love to hear your story. Share with us how the supplication Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil has impacted your life in the comments below. Whether it was during a financial struggle, health crisis, or personal challenge, your experience could inspire others to place their trust in Allah and seek His help. Overcoming fear with faith. Fear is a natural feeling, but when it consumes us, it can paralyze us. In the Quran, Allah tells us, "So truly, where there is hardship, there is also ease." Quran 94:6. This verse is a profound reminder that even in the most difficult and fearful times, ease and relief are not far behind. Fear, while natural, can overwhelm us, making us lose sight of the hope and relief that Allah has promised. It's important to remember that we are never alone in our struggles. Allah's mercy is always present, and His plan is always greater than our fears. Through faith and trust in Allah, we can overcome even the most paralyzing fears, as He promises to ease our burdens. When fear becomes overwhelming, it often clouds our judgment and robs us of our peace. But the key to overcoming fear lies in our ability to turn to Allah in those moments, knowing that He is in control of all things. By placing our trust in Allah, we open ourselves to His guidance and find strength in the face of adversity. This is why faith is so powerful. It allows us to see beyond the fear and believe that with Allah's help, we can rise above our challenges. Real life story. Let me share a story about Sarah, a mother of 3 young children who faced one of the most terrifying and uncertain times in her life. Sarah's husband passed away suddenly, leaving her to care for their children alone. She had no source of income, and the weight of responsibility began to sink in. The fear of not being able to provide for her family, of not being able to make ends meet, consumed her. Every day she struggled with anxiety and fear, constantly worrying about how she would survive and support her children. The fear was overwhelming. It touched every aspect of her life. But in the midst of her anxiety, Sarah remembered the power of faith. She decided to turn to Allah with sincere supplication, knowing that He alone could help her in this difficult time. Sarah began reciting the dua, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. Allah is sufficient for us, and He is the best disposer of affairs, every day. She put her complete trust in Allah and let go of her fears, even though the future seemed uncertain. As days passed, she found that her anxiety slowly lessened and her strength began to grow. Allah opened doors she never expected. She found work opportunities that allowed her to support her children, and, over time, her financial situation improved. What started as an overwhelming sense of fear turned into a deep, unwavering strength in her faith. Sarah realized that by trusting in Allah, her fear didn't control her anymore. Instead, she was able to face each day with courage, knowing that Allah was with her, guiding her through her trials. Her faith became the source of her strength, and her life was transformed. Fear is something we all face at different points in our lives. Whether it's fear of the unknown, fear of loss, or fear of failure, it can often feel all-encompassing. But when we turn to Allah, our fear can be transformed into strength. What fears are you currently facing, and how do you use your faith to overcome them? Share your thoughts with us below. Let's support each other by sharing how faith has helped us overcome fear, and how we can continue to rely on Allah's guidance through difficult times. The role of patience in trials. Allah tells us in the Quran, "O you who have believed, seek help through patience and prayer. Indeed, Allah is with the patient." Quran 2:153. Patience is a virtue that Allah commands us to practice, especially in times of hardship. However, patience is not simply about waiting passively for things to get better. It's about trust in Allah's timing, His wisdom, and His plan for us. In times of trial, patience is not a sign of weakness or passivity. It is an active process of maintaining faith and trust in Allah, while enduring the hardships with grace. Patience helps us accept that the challenges we face are part of Allah's plan for us, and with His guidance, we can navigate them in a way that leads to personal growth and spiritual reward. When we cultivate patience, we learn to handle adversity with dignity, understanding that every test is an opportunity to grow closer to Allah. Patience isn't just about the external situation. It is an internal peace that comes from knowing that Allah's will is always the best for us, and He is with us through every trial. Real life story. Let me share the story of Zaid, a man who faced a trial many of us can relate to, being unjustly fired from his job. Zaid had worked diligently for years, building a career that he thought was secure. However, one day, he was suddenly called into his employer's office and told that he was being let go, with no justifiable reason given. The shock and anger he felt were overwhelming. He was devastated, and like anyone in his situation, felt betrayed and confused. But Zaid, instead of reacting impulsively, decided to turn to Allah for guidance. Rather than immediately seeking revenge or focusing on his feelings of injustice, Zaid recited the dua, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. Allah is sufficient for us, and He is the best disposer of affairs, and chose to remain patient. He trusted that Allah had a greater plan for him, and that even though the situation seemed dire, he would be taken care of in the best way possible. Zaid kept his faith strong, prayed for Allah's help, and patiently waited for Allah's plan to unfold. Months passed, and Zaid faced many difficulties. However, his patience and trust in Allah led him to a better outcome than he could have imagined. Not only was he re-employed, but he was offered a position with higher pay and a better work environment than he had before. Looking back, Zaid realized that his patience had allowed him to hold on to his faith, and in return, Allah blessed him with something far better than what he had initially lost. Through his patience, he learned the value of trusting in Allah's timing and His greater plan. Patience can be incredibly difficult to practice, especially when we feel overwhelmed by challenges. But it is through patience that we can find strength, peace, and ultimately, success. How does patience play a role in your trials? Do you rely on it in your moments of hardship? We'd love to hear your thoughts and stories. Share in the comments below how patience has helped you navigate your own difficulties and how it has brought you closer to Allah. How to make dua effectively. Making dua is not just about reciting words. It's about establishing a sincere connection with Allah. Dua is a deeply personal act of worship that allows us to pour our hearts out to the One who created us, knowing that He is always ready to listen. The Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, beautifully reminded us, when you ask Allah for something, ask with full confidence in His mercy and ability to grant it. This shows us that dua should be made with faith, sincerity, and a deep understanding that Allah has the power to grant our requests. When we approach Allah with full trust in His will, we align our hearts with His mercy, knowing that He is the best disposer of affairs. The key to effective dua lies in the quality of our intention. It's not just about the words we say, it's about the sincerity behind them. When making dua, we should speak from the heart, asking for what we truly need and trusting that whatever Allah wills for us will be the best for our lives. The Prophet, PBUH, taught us that when we make dua, we should ask Allah confidently, without any doubt in His ability to answer us, while also recognizing that His wisdom may choose to grant us something even better than what we ask for. Real life story. Let me share the story of Layla, a woman who had been struggling with infertility for many years. She and her husband had been trying to conceive for a long time, But despite multiple medical treatments and consultations with specialists, they had no success. Layla was emotionally drained, and after every failed attempt, her hope began to wane. But despite her struggles, she never lost her faith in Allah. One night, in the quiet part of the night, Layla decided to turn to Allah with sincerity. She knew that nothing was impossible for him, and so, with tears in her eyes and a heart full of hope, she made a heartfelt dua, asking Allah to bless her with a child. She recited the dua with full confidence in His mercy and power, acknowledging that only Allah could grant her what she desired. A year later, Layla received the news she had longed for. She was pregnant. Her joy knew no bounds, but what she felt more deeply than the excitement was her gratitude to Allah for answering her dua. Layla's story is a powerful reminder that when we make dua with sincerity and full trust in Allah, He listens and responds. Allah may answer our prayers in His time and His way, and when we approach Him with unwavering faith, we often find that the blessings He gives are more than we could ever have imagined. Making dua with sincerity can sometimes be challenging, especially when we're overwhelmed by our worries or when we feel distant from Allah. But the key to an effective dua is the focus and intention we bring to it. What helps you focus during your prayers? How do you ensure that your heart is fully engaged when making a dua? Share your tips on how to make a dua with sincerity in the comments below. Your experiences and insights might inspire others to connect with Allah more deeply in their own supplications. Finding solutions in the most difficult times. Sometimes our problems seem unsolvable. The difficulties we face can feel like insurmountable mountains, and no matter how hard we try, the solutions seem out of reach. But the Quran offers us a profound reminder that with faith in Allah, there is always a way out. And whoever fears Allah, He will make a way for him to get out from every difficulty. Quran 65:2. This verse reminds us that no matter how dire our circumstances may seem, Allah always provides a way out. Our task is to place our trust in Him and have faith that in His wisdom, He knows the best solution for us, even when we cannot see it. Sometimes, the way out of our difficulties is not immediately clear, but if we continue to trust in Allah's plan, the path will eventually open. The most difficult times are often the moments where Allah's mercy shines brightest, showing us that through patience and faith, we can overcome even the greatest of challenges. It's easy to feel lost when faced with overwhelming problems, but the Quran assures us that Allah's help is always available. Whether it's through guidance, patience, or the opening of new opportunities, Allah has the power to transform even the toughest situations. All we need to do is have faith in His plan. Real-life story. In the midst of the trials that the people of Mecca faced during the time of the Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, the companions encountered overwhelming challenges, especially during the early days of Islam. The Quraysh, the powerful tribe of Mecca, fiercely opposed the message of Islam, leading to persecution, torture, and even exile for the Muslims. Despite these hardships, the companions remained steadfast in their faith and trust in Allah. One of the most difficult moments came during the Battle of Uhud, where the Muslims faced a much larger and better equipped army. The situation looked grim, and the companions were unsure how to find a way out of the dire circumstances. Yet, despite the hardship, they took solace in the belief that victory was ultimately in the hands of Allah. They remained patient and firm, knowing that Allah's plan was far greater than any immediate obstacle. In the end, even though the battle did not result in a complete victory, the companions found strength in their faith and in their conviction that Allah was with them, regardless of the outcome. The situation, though filled with hardship, became a testament to their unshakable trust in Allah. They knew that no matter how difficult the circumstances, Allah would always make a way out for them, And indeed, their faith in Allah's guidance became a source of strength for them, leading to victory in the long run. Sometimes, the answers to our problems come from the most unexpected places when we trust in Allah and remain patient. Has there been a time in your life when you found a solution in the most unlikely of places, all thanks to your faith? How did Allah guide you through your difficulties? Let's talk about it in the comments. Your story may inspire others who are going through their own tough times and remind them that Allah always makes a way out for those who trust in Him. The benefits of dua and patience combined. The combination of dua and patience is a powerful force in overcoming life's challenges. Dua is our direct connection with Allah, a way to seek His mercy, guidance, and intervention. Patience, on the other hand, is the strength we draw upon to endure difficulties while trusting in Allah's perfect plan. When these two are combined, they create a powerful force that can transform our trials into triumphs. Through this union, Allah opens doors of mercy and relief, even in the most trying times. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was a living example of this beautiful combination. Throughout his life, he faced some of the most difficult and trying circumstances, yet his reliance on Allah remained unwavering. In times of hardship, he did not lose hope, nor did he despair. Instead, he made sincere dua and practiced patience, trusting that Allah's wisdom and mercy would guide him through every trial. His life serves as a reminder to us that no matter how challenging the situation, if we turn to Allah with sincerity and patience, He will ease our burdens and provide solutions that are best for us. Real life story. Let me share the story of Omar, a man who found himself in a deep financial struggle. For years, Omar had been overwhelmed by a mounting debt that seemed impossible to clear. Every day, he worried about his future and felt trapped by the weight of his obligations. He had tried to solve the problem through various means, but nothing seemed to work. One day, after reflecting deeply, Omar decided to turn to Allah in sincere dua. He began praying fervently, asking Allah for help and guidance to overcome his situation. However, Omar didn't simply rely on dua alone. He understood that patience and action go hand in hand. He decided to take responsibility for his situation and started making small, consistent efforts to pay off his debt. It wasn't easy, and at times his progress felt slow. But every step he took was made with the understanding that Allah would make the way easier for him if he remained patient and continued to ask for his help. Months went by, and Omar's financial situation began to improve. Within a year, he had cleared his debt completely and regained financial stability. Reflecting on his journey, Omar knew that his success was not just due to his efforts, but also because of his faith in Allah, his consistent dua, and the patience he maintained throughout the process. He realized that by combining dua and patience, Allah had opened doors of mercy and solutions he could never have imagined on his own. Combining dua with patience can be a transformative practice in our daily lives. It allows us to stay grounded and hopeful, even when we are faced with overwhelming challenges. How do you combine dua and patience in your life? How has this combination helped you through difficult times? Let's discuss in the comments. Your experiences may inspire others to practice this powerful duo of faith in their own lives.